How's it going, YouTube? This is T Solo, Basic Bro Travel Show. Here with newest member of the family, but soon to be sold. Actually, they're coming today to pick him up. This is, I call him Scotch, but the new owners would name him. Yes, I sell top of the shelf. I raise and sell top of the shelf dachshund puppies. So this is whiskey. Excuse me, this is Scotch. His mother's name is Bourbon, my Malinois locked up because he's too crazy. His name is Whiskey. So, yeah. Anyway, just wanted to show you guys some of the wares. Anyway, I am wanting to do another Passport Bro public service announcement. And I alluded to it on my last video. And basically what that is should, and this pertains mainly to black guys. A lot of my videos will be geared towards everyone, but because I'm a black American, naturally that's going to be my primary experience. So, sometimes things that I discuss are going to be specific to black Americans, but I will try to include others with the limited knowledge I have of other cultures, as much as I can, because I do want this to be a show for everyone, not just black guys. But please understand that as a black man, I'm coming from that point of view. Should black American men, should we target or be okay with dating non-black women who specifically like black men? That's the subject for today. Should we target or be intrigued with non-black women who specifically like black men, who pretty much only date black men? I'm going to say you have to be very cautious when it comes to that. Very cautious. And I will even go so far as saying you might want to steer clear of girls that specifically like black men, that that's their target. And I'm gonna give a number of reasons why. So number one, unless that woman was raised in a black community, pretty much where she's white or she's Hispanic, but culturally in her mind she's black, unless that's her story, chances are her love for black men was developed by what she saw on television, in videos, and TikTok, and Instagram, and YouTube. So most women that I've encountered that specifically like black men were not raised around black men. They like us based off of what they saw on television or social media. Now, you might ask, well, what's wrong with that? Well, we all know that much of the images that are portrayed about American black men up until very recently, and even now, have been what most people could consider to be negative. So pretty much, you have a non-black woman who is enamored by the negative images and portrayals of black men. So what does that say about her and her personality and what she's about? I have found that usually that puts her into kind of a mind frame of seeing black men as a fetish. Now, is that a bad thing? Uh, Generally speaking, yeah. Yeah. Because the woman doesn't really necessarily like you. She likes her image of you in her head. And if you don't fit that image fully, not just the looks, but also the attitude and the swag and whatever else that's in her mind, she's going to lose interest in you in most cases. She's going to see you as a fraud or not really living up to the image of you in her head. Or she's just going to see you as somebody to have a sexual fantasy tryst with, and that pretty much ends it. Now, can that be leveraged on your behalf? Can a woman viewing you and seeing you as a fetish be leveraged for you, for the black man? Yes, if done real carefully. You can pretty much say, hey, no matter why a person likes me, as long as they like me, you know what I mean? I can make that work. You know what I mean? The problem is getting a girl to like you in the first place. If I can get someone to like me, then I can make it work. You know what I mean? And so I can understand people feeling that way. And to a certain extent, I do too. Like the Sam Cooke said, man, I'm old. So the song, it's another Saturday, if I can meet him, I can get him. It's yet I haven't met him. That's why I'm in the shape I'm in. It's another Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. You know that song? If I can meet him, I could get him. But as yet I haven't met him. And that's what he's saying. If I can just meet him, I can make it work. So yes, can you leverage any reason a woman likes you to your benefit? Yes, you can. That I believe, if she's got a good head on her shoulders otherwise, that fetish can grow into more. But again, as grown men, black men, we kind of have to live with what's probable and not necessarily what's possible. Yeah, dog, my little friend there was getting a little restless, had to put him down. By the way, before I continue, these are the new, I don't know how new they are, but these are the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Uh-oh, I just turned on some music. These are the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. So as a lot of you already know, you can take pictures, videos, you can hear music, you can speak to it like you would Siri, and it answers your questions. So I'm going to use these to get that film footage that otherwise might be hard to get for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to see, hopefully not too many people are aware of it. Unfortunately, when you, I don't know if this is going to interfere with the recording, but let me try. Unfortunately, when you, like I'm recording right now, and unfortunately a light comes on, so that obviously that might give it away that you're filming. But what I plan on doing is kind of mumbling, speaking, so I can pretend the light is the phone the phone feature. So if they think I'm recording, but no, I'm on a call, so whatever. This is just to get that film footage where they're adamant about, hey, no filming. Like my belief is, if I'm in public, what are you doing? Who are you to tell me I can't film? I'm in public. And as others have pointed out, there's cameras everywhere. I'm not going to do anything worse with my video as the camera on the light post is going to do. So and I'm going to respect people's privacy. I'm going to respect, I'm going to be, I'm going to be ethical with it. So anyway, this is the Meta glasses. So I will test those out while I'm in next month when I'm in the Philippines and in Thailand. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, yeah, you can leverage fetishism, a woman's fetish for liking black men. You can leverage that on your behalf. But here's the problem with that. Many times those women, as I've already discussed, they have they have learned to like black men based off of what they see on videos and shows, which is usually a caricature of black men. It's usually someone ultra ghetto or an athlete or a combination of the two, right? It's very rarely little Maria or Heather, growing up in a neighborhood that has no blacks in it, didn't develop her love for black men based off of the black physicists she's seen portrayed in the movies. No, she developed her love for black men off of Offset and Quavo and Tupac. And you go to Snoop Dogg, you go down the list. That's how and that's who caused her to become enamored with black men. Another problem when it comes to non-black women who specifically like black men, because it falls into that category of fetish many times, you'll find that these non-black women will pretty much date any black guy. They will be attracted to almost anyone black. So while that is good for you, it's also good for your competitor, right? So you'll find that their their ability to be faithful to you is severely hampered. Severely hampered because darn near every black guy they meet, they find something about him sexy or attractive. Why? Because we're a fetish to them. So it will be guys that you are disgraced by the thought of your girl feeling any type of romantic inclination towards him. Like, it will not just be the Boris Kujos and Idris Elbas. It will be Steve Urkel. It will be Lil Uzi Vert. It will be Kodak Black, without the Kodak, just black, who will have a chance with your woman. And you're like, what? That's not to say they all cheat. I'm not going there. But many times you're going to find when you're dealing with that non-black woman who specifically and only dates black men, who was not raised around black people, she just likes black men in general. Until such time that she's around that guy for a while and she realizes that he doesn't fit the stereotype or whatever image she thinks of black men in her head. Once she figures out that he's a nerd or he's a computer geek or or just a nice guy, then she'll start to lose interest in that particular black person, that particular black guy. But generally speaking, those women like all black men. So you'll find you're competing and in competition and in danger of losing your girl to darn near anyone black. And there's nothing more disheartening or disgraceful than your woman being somewhat attracted to a guy that you know is 10 levels beneath you. But he's black and he looks like J. Cole, so that's all that matters. She give her too much to drink and no supervision, and she may sleep with him, or she'll want to. And man, that's disgraceful. You don't want to put yourself through that. But many times when you're dating one of these non-black women who only like black men, you're putting yourself in that position. Now there are girls who, again, were raised around black people, or maybe they're a social justice warrior and went to Berkeley, and they just, or maybe they are really rejecting the racism from their household, from their parents, and that's kind of their way of, rebelling a little bit. Or, sometimes some girls and guys too, sometimes they're very repulsed by racism. And they hear this negativity, then they get around some black people and they see that it's not true. And so it makes them curious about black culture, and they find they like it. You know what I mean? So, okay, there's rare examples of that. There are, I'm sure, a lot of non-black women who simply like the way black men look. They like the color. They think the color is attractive. They think the features are attractive. They like how black men look. They like whatever, the masculinity, the body build, the color. They find it physically attractive. A lot of black guys, many of us, we like how Asian women look. We think they are pretty. It's not really a fetish. There's the eyes, the hair, the straight hair, the black long straight hair, the porcelain colored skin, depending on the country the girl is from. It's pretty. It's not about necessarily being a fetish. And just for the record, for you, I know there's no Asian women watching, but if ever there is, let me just say one thing. This notion that, I don't know about any other culture. I don't know. Again, I'm black, so I'm speaking from a black man's point of view. This notion that when a man likes an Asian woman, it's because he has an Asian fetish or yellow fever, or as if we only like you because we think we're going to get some submissive version of an Asian woman. I don't know how other cultures feel about that. I don't know. Maybe Asian women are encountering that with other people, but I can assure you the vast majority of black men do not like Asian women because we think we're going to get a submissive girlfriend or a submissive wife. Because to be honest, that's not the experience black men have, American black men have with Asian women. Now, I don't know about the World War II crowd and the Vietnam War crowd, but any black man 50 and under, we don't have a submissive Asian woman experience. So we don't necessarily think we're going to get a submissive Asian girl when we date Asian women. That's not our experience with you ladies. Our experience actually is being chased out of the store, being told, you buy now, being followed around with a lady with a broom, making sure we don't steal anything, having to negotiate and barter to get her to put an extra coat of paint on our girls' nails and pay extra, brooms and threats. is what we experience, generally speaking, with Asian women. Totally being ignored. You know what? Years ago, I don't want to dox myself too much. I'm already doing the most, but the the company that I work for sent me and my boss on an assignment. We had to go pick up some items for a company party, and we went to, where do we go? Costco. This was in San Francisco area. Now, mind you, San Francisco area, very cosmopolitan, very, multicultural area. You can't get any more multicultural in America than that. Maybe New York. So, me and my boss, who's a taller white guy, we went to Costco to go pick up some items for a company party. So he's taller than me. So when he walks, he has a longer stride. So inevitably, he's walking ahead of me. So I'm walking behind him. And so I can see what's going on before I get there, He passed by, I'm assuming a Korean woman. She looked Korean. There's a lot of Koreans in the area, either Korean or Chinese or Japanese. And a East Indian woman. Again, he's pretty far ahead of me. Both of these women looked at him and smiled and said, "Good morning." Both the East Asian woman and the East Indian woman. "Good morning." Before he said anything to him. In fact, he wasn't thinking about them. He was looking around in the aisles trying to find what we were looking for. He was distracted and said, "Good morning." And he said, "Good morning." And the other one, a few moments later, the other lady, "Good morning, good morning." Of course, after they passed him and walked past me, they didn't say a word. As usual, didn't look at me, didn't say a word. And so when we got back to the car, I said, "You know what?" At the time, I was probably like 45, 40, 47. And I said, "Hey, those Asian ladies said good morning to you." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, in the 45 years on Earth that I've been on this planet, I have never had an Asian woman look me in the eye and say good morning without me having to speak to them first. And even then, I had to kind of pull it out of them. "Good morning, good morning." Never have I had an Indian woman walk past me and say good morning to me first. I'm talking about East Indian, from India. Never have I had an Asian woman from Korea, Japan, or China look at me first and say good morning. I said, he goes up. And he was like, "It happens all the time." So that's the experience black men have with Asian women. So we don't think of you guys as, "Oh, I'm going to get some submissive little girl who's going to do my bidding." No, 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 no. If we like Asian women, it's simply because we think you're beautiful. And if there is an attraction to you because of what we see on the media, it's because the reputation of Asian women and what's portrayed about Asian women on television and social media is positive. It's not negative. It's positive. It either portrays Asian women as smart, hardworking, good at math, And even if there is the occasional old, like the new show Shogun, where it shows Asian women being submissive, men don't see being submissive as a bad thing. We also see that as a good thing. It just shows cooperation and a willingness to get along. So even that is not really a negative stereotype, not in the eyes of men. So it's it's no wonder that there a lot of men are attracted to Asian women. They are portrayed as good women. But that brings me back to black men. We're usually portrayed in a negative light, either ruffians, criminals, drug dealers, whatever. So you kind of have to wonder, why would a woman, non-black woman, who wasn't raised around black men, whose only experience with black men initially was that image that they see on TV, which is not positive, why would they be drawn to that? What's going on up here that makes them drawn to that? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm happy there are women who specifically like black men. It's benefited me. And yes, you can leverage it if you know what you're doing. But generally speaking, there's something a little twisted about it. There's something not quite right. Now, how you leverage it, if you are in fact Offset, if you have the personality of Quavo, and that's really who you are, then you're golden. Then that's you. You are that roundaway guy. You are that you know, that dude from the ghetto who fits that stereotype for real, and good for you. But if you're not, if you're just a black guy, but you were raised in, the better part of town, or you're older and you've kind of lost those street ways because you've had to work for corporate America for years, and you know what I mean. It's not going to work for you. You're probably not going to meet all of her expectations, and don't try to fake it. She will be able to see that you're not, you know what I mean? You're just Carlton in a do-rag. She's going to know you're faking it. So, that's why I really, really steered, from my perspective, I kind of, and certainly I don't want to make any girl that kind of like they specifically like black men, and I know they weren't raised around black men. I do not want to make one of those girls my main squeeze. Now, putting them on your summer league team, okay. Someone you deal with every now and then, okay. But your main squeeze, try to find a girl who is open to dating black men, but black men aren't necessarily her choice. She's willing to date whomever she finds attractive, whomever she just happens to like at that time. Or date a non-black girl who was raised amongst black people. And then it's understandable why she likes black men. Now, you kind of have to ask, do you really want a girl, since many black people were raised in not the best areas, do you really want a girl with that type of personality? Okay, that's up to you. Some guys like roundaway girls. Hey, if you like a roundaway girl, then that's good. You know what I mean? But, that would be the only time, someone who just happens to meet you, happens to like you, happens to think you're attractive, happens to like your vibe, but she wasn't necessarily pinpointing black men. Again, there will be those girls who just find black men physically attractive, and it has nothing to do with wishing you were Quavo or hoping you're ghetto or hoping you have a thug persona. She just likes how you look. There are those women, but the majority of non-black women who pinpoint black men tend to have certain expectations of behavior from that black guy beyond just how he looks. You know what I mean? So that gets kind of into fetishism, and it can lead to disappointment for you unless you happen to be that Quavo type person and you happen to fit her image to a T. You happen to fit her image perfectly, then okay. But if you know you don't, you're probably going to run into an issue where eventually she's a little disappointed in you. And there's nothing worse than a woman disappointed in you because you're not ghetto enough. You you're driving around in a Mercedes, but she would prefer to be riding on someone's handlebars on a bike, smoking a blunt. You want to avoid girls like that, man. At least not make them your main girl. You hear me? So I hope that's clear. I hope that, again, that's not saying don't date women who specifically like black men. I'm just saying be cautious, vet them, find out why you only date black men. Are you from Berkeley? You know what I mean? Were you going to Black Student Union meetings since the ninth grade? You know, why? What's going on? Where did you develop this love for black men? Or is it because you watch too much MTV and rap videos and you're hoping I'm that way? You got to be cautious about that. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the public service announcement for the Passport Bros. I'm not sure what number this is. I'll put it in the description. Hey, guys, subscribe. You know what I mean? Push the like button. Tell other folks. I'm going to be doing a social experiment. When I get to Thailand, I'm thinking 1 hour a week, I'm going to go to the mall or a place where the regular Thai people are at, and I'm going to cold approach. And I'm going to film it. I'm going to use my Ray-Ban Meta glasses, and I'm going to film it. I'm going to film the approaches. Regular folks, because to me, just going to the bars or the clubs, we already know you can get a girl doing that. That doesn't really say anything. That doesn't mean anything. We all know you can go to the Holstro and get a girl. What is that? I mean, not knocking anyone who does it. I'm just saying that doesn't really tell you the vibe and the feeling of the women in general in that country. I can't come back to America and go to black men and say, hey, in Thailand, they love black men, if I've only dealt with women at the bars. That's not accurate. The women at the bars like every man. So I have to venture into the real world. And I got to put my ego on the line. And yes, it's going to be rough because a lot of those women don't even speak English. You know, Asian cultures tend to be colorist at best and racist at worst. So I don't think it's going to be easy, but that's the only way I can get an accurate gauge on, hey, should you actually relocate and move to this country? Will your dating options really be better in Thailand or the Philippines? Will it? When you're dealing with the actual local women, not bar girls? I'm going to find that out for you. And I'm going to do it in the Philippines too. When I get to Cebu, I should be in Cebu. I'm guessing I'll spend about 2 weeks there. At least an hour each week. I'm going to hit normal spots, malls, night markets, clubs that I know only, not only, but clubs that I know the locals frequent. No bar girl, no Holstro girl. And then I'm going to go there and cold approach. And I'm going to try my best to film it, report back, give you the statistics, and give you my opinion on, is this a place where a basic bro can attract women, get a date, have success in the dating field? I will also, if I have time, do a condo tour just to kind of give you an idea of what condos cost. I mean, sometimes that gets into hiring, or not hiring, but locating a realtor and all that. If it's easy, I will do a condo tour. If it's not too much, so you can kind of also see how much it costs to live there as far as rent and what the accommodations actually look like. Obviously, I will be filming the surrounding, just the land itself, just the city itself, as much as possible. Yeah, and I will report back. All right, guys, this is T Solo, Basic Bro Travel Show.